Hey, I'm Kathleen Jasper, and I'm here to help you think like a test maker and do very well on your SAT test. And today we're talking about the overall structure of the SAT. So if you're brand new to this process and you have no idea where to start, I'm here for you. Let's get started. All right, so the SAT stands for Scholastic Assessment Test, and it is an exam that many colleges use for admissions. So, very competitive colleges, the ones that are hard to get into, are going to want a high SAT score. And some of the colleges that are not that difficult to get into, they might just want a score. But I know some of you are starting your journey on taking the SAT and you're confused. So, let's get an idea of what the SAT is and how you go about taking it. Now, most people start to take the SAT the spring semester of their junior year. So as you're a junior, around February, March, April, May is when most people begin the SAT journey. Now, you can certainly take it before that, but just remember, you may not have the math classes necessary to complete some of the harder math on the exam if you start earlier than that. But you can certainly start taking this exam at any time. You can also take the exam as many times as you want. So if you're looking for a higher score, you most likely will take this exam 2 or 3 times. Some students take it more than that, especially if they're trying to get into an Ivy League college that's very competitive. Now let's go over the overall structure of the SAT because this is key in thinking like a test maker. Now, College Board makes this exam and they release something called content specifications. I like to call them test specs, and it basically breaks down the structure of the exam. All right, so there are 2 sections of the SAT, the reading and writing and the math. And those sections are broken down into 2 modules. There are 2 modules for the reading and writing, and there are 2 modules for the math. Let's talk about the reading and writing first. So in total, there are 54 questions for the reading and writing, 27 in Module 1 and 27 in Module 2. And both Module 1 and Module 2 are very similar. They're structured pretty much the same way. So you'll go through Module 1, finish it, and you'll take Module 2, and it'll look a lot like the module you just completed. You have 64 minutes to complete the reading and writing. So 64 minutes to complete the 27 questions in Module 1 and the 27 questions in Module 2. Now, reading and writing is comprised of several different types of questions. You will have vocab, main idea, key details. You will also have some charts and graphs, inference, and grammar. It's sort of a hodgepodge of all things you've ever taken in your English class. Let's talk about the math. The math is also 2 modules, and they have 22 questions each. So 22 questions in Module 1 and 22 questions in Module 2. And you have 70 minutes to complete the math section. That means 70 minutes for both Module 1 and Module 2. Now, in both modules, you will have algebra, problem solving and data analysis, and geometry and trigonometry. And the way the math sections work is that at the beginning of the module, you'll start off with questions like 1 through 10 that will be relatively easy. And as you move through the module towards that 22nd question, it's going to get progressively harder. Then you'll finish that module and you'll go to Module 2, and the same thing will happen. You will start off with some easy questions and you'll progressively move to more complex math questions. Now, scoring. The entire test is out of 1,600 possible points. That's 800 for the reading and writing and 800 for the math. Now, this is a scale score because think about it. You have 54 questions for the reading and writing and 44 questions for the math. How do you get to 1,600 total? They take your raw score, which is the number correct that you got out of the total, and they turn that into a scale score. How do they do that? Well, they do it with complex statistical models that you probably cannot predict. So what you want to do is focus more on your raw score as you are practicing and try to get as many correct as possible. Now, the entire exam is on the computer. It is a digital assessment. Unless you have accommodations through an IEP and you require paper pencil, you will take this test on the computer. They call this the digital SAT suite of assessments. Because it is on the computer, they use a technique called multi-stage adaptive testing. Now, remember, I just told you that there are two modules. Well, the questions on your second module determine on how well you did on your first module. And what they will do is increase the complexity as you answer questions correctly. This is important because it allows them to get to a scale score more efficiently than a paper pencil test. So you actually get more scaled points depending on the complexity of your question. So more complex questions will yield higher results. Now, the good news about this adaptive testing is that you receive your scores much quicker than you used to when we took paper pencil SAT. This test has been around forever. I took it when I was in high school. We took it using paper pencil, but you will take it using the computer and you will get your score within days. The other thing that has changed based on this computer-based testing is that the passages are shorter on the reading and writing. This is good news for a lot of people. When you go through the reading and writing and you have to read a passage and, put in a vocabulary word or find the main idea or understand key details, you're only reading about 150 words total. So the passages are much shorter, making it, in my opinion, a little bit more efficient to find that correct answer. Now, for this exam, you are going to want to answer every single question. So you're going to want to time yourself and know that if you're spending too much time on a question, you need to guess and move on, because there could be questions later on in the exam that you would have gotten correct had you had the time. So don't spend too much time on any one question. If you're sitting there for too long, narrow it down 50-50, guess and move on. You want to make sure that you answer every question. Now that we know the overall structure of the exam, I want you to have a look at the test specifications and the practice test that College Board, which is the company that makes this exam, publishes. College Board provides test takers with so many resources, and it's really important that you have a look at these, especially if you are new to this exam. Now, I always tell my students to do this. Go to Google and put in released SAT test. College Board will release previously administered SAT tests for you. That way you get real live tests. You understand what they look like. You get the structure down, the function, all of that. It's really important. So first thing that pops up will be College Board. Now be careful. There will be test prep companies here. I am a test prep company. You'll see my products. You'll see other people's products here. First, go straight to the testing company. That's where you're going to get the most important information. Later, if you want to, you can invest in some prep, but first go to College Board, and you can see its a little acorn here, and click this full-length SAT Suite practice test. Now, there are two things you can do here. You can click on the blue book, and that will take you to this area here. This is an app that you can download to your Mac or your PC, and it administers the practice tests in a way that is similar to what you will see on test day. So I highly recommend you practice using this method because it simulates test day. And it's important that you get to know this way of taking the exam. If you practice using a test prep book the whole time, paper pencil, and I love test prep books, but if you do that the whole time and then you go onto the computer, you may be at a disadvantage because now it's a whole different format. So I recommend downloading this to your Mac or PC and practicing this way. You'll have to create an account and all of that, but it's fairly easy. The other thing they have are full-length paper practice tests, which I love because there are a bunch of them. And you can print these out, put them in your folder. And if you have extra time in homeroom or during lunch, if you're really serious about getting a good score, you can do some of these paper pencil tests when you don't have access to your PC or your laptop or whatever. There are also very detailed answer explanations in these bundles here. When you download this bundle, it comes in a zip file, and in it are the practice tests, the answers, and the answer explanations. So this is a great little packet of information, and you can see there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 here. So there are 7 bundles here for you to use as you practice. These are amazing. Now, even more important than the practice tests, I recommend, and I always say, think like a test maker. Well, how do you think like a test maker? Well, you have a look at what the test maker has released in terms of the test. And so I like to Google the name of the test. In this case, it's SAT, and then the term test specs or test specifications and blueprint, whatever it is, it's going to break down the test. And you can see there are lots of different PDFs here that break it down. Go to this first one. This is like the whole thing. But if you wanted to break it out into reading and writing specifications and math specifications, you can do that here. but I like to just download this full document. I have it on my computer saved, and you can see that it breaks down the content specifications of the exam. You can see that the reading and writing has 4 main content categories: craft and structure, information and ideas, standard English conventions. And you can go down and even have a look at how many questions approximately in each section. This will help you prepare for the test. When you know the structure and the types of questions that are going to come, you're better prepared to think like a test maker, be efficient, strategic, and get the score you want on the exam. The same thing goes for the math here. You can see algebra, advanced math, and then we've got problem solving and data analysis, geometry, and trig. All right. And you can see the questions, there are a little more here in algebra and advanced math, and there are fewer here for problem solving and geometry and trig. These are the more advanced questions towards the end of the test. It also breaks down the scoring here. All right, so that is the overview of the SAT test. I certainly have so much more to share with you about this exam. So you're going to want to check out my other videos on this YouTube channel. And you may want to go to my website and check out some of my blogs and test prep. Let me show you where to get that. All right, so just hop over to kmjlearning.com and you'll be able to see everything we offer here. Our course that you might be interested in is the SAT Prep online course. You'll be able to preview a little bit of it here, and then you can, of course, add to cart there. We also have some blogs and other free resources with lots of information. So definitely check out our website at kmjlearning.com. All right, so that's it for today. If you're just starting this journey and you're feeling a little overwhelmed, it's okay. Take it one step at a time. Stick around on this YouTube channel and subscribe, and you will get videos that will help you think like a test maker and how to be strategic. I was trained by a large testing company to understand how they structure test questions, distractors, answer choices, all of that. And I share that all with you on this YouTube channel. So go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much and have a great day.